I've decided to go back to physical media rather than consuming so much digital content. Streaming services were great when they first pioneered, but now I just think they're getting greedy. It's getting out of control. I think Netflix is the worst culprit. Netflix is the one, if I was choosing one of them to have, if I just owned one on its own, Netflix is the one I would have. But to be honest, I think Netflix is too greedy. They're the ones that first coming up with the you can't share accounts, and then you start having the adverts. It just don't stop. And then the prices just keep increasing and increasing. And in the end, it becomes habitual. It's almost like you just get used to regurgitating content and just paying the fees over and over. At some point, you've got to stop and think, what do I actually want? Do I need all this? One thing I hate is the apps hopping. I hate that, where not everything's in one place. So you're going on this app for this app for that, this app for this. I want to minimize things. I just want things to be simple. I don't care if I miss content somewhere else. If it's exclusive there, then so be it. I can't be bothered anymore because it's too much of this jump in here, jump in there. Um, so at the moment, the idea is to reduce it rather than remove it entirely. So, for instance, I intend to keep Prime, Amazon Prime, just because of the features. I'm going to show some of the features Amazon give because I think people are maybe not aware. I think they just consider it movies and shopping. In all honesty, the shopping's good because of the delivery fees. I think Disney's great, but if you think about it, how many films? I mean, I don't know because everybody has their own habits. But for me personally, maybe you watch some of the Marvel movies. I like Pirates of the Caribbean. There's things like that. But when I think about it, I'm like, I own most of them on disc. I own most of them on disc. Why do I keep paying the fees? Because they keep going up, and you have adverts. I don't have adverts between discs. I don't have any of this, and I've got a lot of shows. So what I'm going to show you just a little bit, because I think we've just got so used to consuming too much content, and I actually get overwhelmed anyway. For instance, if I'm on Netflix, I tend to watch Seinfeld. This is my habits because I don't like too much choice. It drives me nuts. So inevitably, I just put Suits, Big Bang Theory, and Seinfeld. I own Big Bang Theory and Seinfeld on disc. And I also own it on another platform, the actual series. So if I was just to sign in there, I could stream it for free because I own it, And it's always, but the reliance on owning things online, though, I do worry about because if services got closed or they changed the terms and conditions, could they potentially put adverts in front of the movies that you've already paid for, And I'm thinking, I know I've already invested, but I think it's time to start bringing that investment back and start putting it into physical content. That's really where I'm going now. So this is part of my collection. I'm just going to show it briefly. Now, it's ones I've amassed for many years. I used to have it like when I was younger. I had this massive bookshelf that had so many discs in, and I used to enjoy that. When I wanted to watch a film, I would just go over. This is before, obviously, the streaming platforms. But I used to just go there and look at my collection, just think, what do I fancy watching? And it'd be organised, So I know roughly where the horrors are, where the comedies are, where the action movies are. And I used to like doing that, just going over there and have a little think. Oh yeah, I'm going to watch that. Because it's not like I don't watch telly just continuously, So when it go, yeah. So I'm just going to get back to that level of enjoyment I had towards it because it makes it more. For me, it's more engaging. I get to sit there and actually choose it, pull it, get the disc out, and enjoy it. Why is my camera going funny? Stupid thing. But anyway, this is part of my collection on disc, which I don't suppose you'll be able to see very well. Says even something like the Munsters. I don't even know if you can watch that anywhere. It's like I've got things that I don't think are necessarily on TV. Abbott and Costello collection. I think I got Laurel and Hardy. I can't remember. A lot of these are really old DVDs, but I'm going to replay. I want to start collecting some Blu-rays. I'm not going to go as far as to get an Ultra HD, as good as it'd be. I think it's a lot of money for what you get, and I'm not really going down that path. But overall, it's like there's a lot of films that I own that I haven't watched for a long time, and it's like there's no reason I can't just put a disc in the disc drive. And that got me thinking, how expensive are Blu-ray players? I've got one. It'd be nice to have one in another room as well. But it's becoming rarer and actually harder to grab, which shows that the actual, the industry is trying to push us towards streaming and digital content. And I think it's important that we start taking back our power and recognize that when we purchase something, we truly own it, and stop giving the power to the industry, where we're just where we have to keep spending and spending. Because you can go periods, for instance. You could say, like, the way I look at it, of course, is you buy a film, you buy a disc, yeah, you could have had a service. But the reality is, once you've built a library up, you don't need to keep spending money. Okay, you can have new content, but it depends. If you can't watch anything over again, then fine. But if you like to watch certain films and they're, you've already owned them, I don't have to pay anything for a year and I could still have plenty of content to watch, you know? So what's the point? I might as well just build my collection up again and just enjoy collecting because I enjoy doing that. Now, I think Disney has an awful lot of content, to be honest. So if you're really into, I think, Star Wars, Marvel, or any actual Disney exclusives, then that's good. But the worry with that is it is constantly increasing in price too. And where do you draw the line? You know, if it's worth the price of two movies, for instance, which I know there's a lot of content there, but over time you'll be able to break free from that model if you bought two movies every month instead. I mean, it depends how much content you consume, of course. But over the course of the year, now you've got the collection, and then you don't have to keep paying the money anymore. You know, and that's why they want you on the service model. That's why I'm pushing away now. It's going to no good. So I thought we'd just go through just briefly some of the things you get with Amazon, for instance, is why I can't leave Amazon, because every time I go to leave them, I'm like, oh, I like that. One of them I don't think many people know about. So of course you've got options here, like in the UK, you can get 2 cinema tickets for £10, which I think is pretty good. There are cheap cinemas around the country, but it depends where you live. If you only live near a certain one, that could be a great deal. Free delivery on one of the takeaway options. Obviously, we get Prime movies, you get Amazon Music, a limited version of it, of course, not Music Unlimited, but still Prime Reading. It's a smaller version of Kindle Unlimited, but it's still free books. So effectively, even just at this stage, you've got free delivery on your items. You've got access to their video service, which is on par with Netflix to a degree. You know, it's a lot of content. You get music, which is like Spotify and things. You know, this for the money you're getting. I know we get fed up with the ads part of Prime Video, but aside from that, there's a lot you're getting for your money compared to the other apps, in my opinion. You know, if you only have one, it gives you everything, doesn't it? For a small fee every month, you can get your shopping delivered for free very quickly. You get access to an awful lot of video content. You get free books every month. Music, you get to stream music. But there's also some other features that I think people don't know about, so I'm going to share them now. So we've got Prime Video, but also this one. If you're a gamer, you've got Prime Gaming, and they give you free games every month, and quite a lot of them as well. I claim them, and I own most of them already, but some people may not. They're big games on different platforms on PC though, so you grab them and you can get a lot of games for free. Oh, it's not coming up there, but yeah, it goes quite a way. Oh, they're not showing them now because I've already got them. Oh no, maybe it go this side. But gamers will recognize some of the games, you know. But this is all absolutely free. It doesn't cost, it is part of Amazon Prime, which most people won't know exists. The other feature as well is that I don't think many people know about it, which it's not showing here actually. If we can scroll down, is Luna. It's a cloud streaming platform. So let's say you don't have a games console and you've got Amazon Prime. You log into Amazon Luna. You can literally stream a collection of games for absolute free. One of which is Fortnite. Your phone, you can play it on your phone, your computer. I think the phone, your TV if it's got it built in. So like mine's got it built in, but it's a bit laggy. But again, it depends on what you're running. I'm sure if you've got one of those TV sticks, it'll probably work on there as well. But the reality is, it's forgoing the need for hardware such as a computer or a games console. You're literally streaming the games. Again, that's part of Prime. You know, I'm not trying to sell Prime here. I'm just showing that why I'm favouring Prime over Netflix. Prime's cheaper than Netflix. Netflix keeps putting the prices up. Netflix seems to be the model that starts all the trends. And I think at some point you've got to stop the corrupt one, you know. Prime Reading. So like I said, you get free books to read every month. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, you can still read many of the books on Kindle Unlimited. I think it's a set amount every month, though. You don't really just have how many books do you read? This is one of the big ones for me that I didn't know about, and this pushed it over the edge. I was paying £8.99 a month for iCloud to store my videos and photos, and I was like, that's a lot every month on top of all the other services. Bear in mind, do you know what I mean? You've got this one, this one, this one, this one. But Amazon actually do this. If you've got Prime, Prime members get unlimited full resolution photo storage, 5 gig for video from Amazon Photos. Now, the video part's a real crux, but overall, I mean, these rules could obviously change as these places do. But so we should try not to be so reliant. But what a great service with Amazon Prime is giving you maybe the services of 6 or 7 Netflix just gives you one, and so does Disney. But Disney gives you an exclusive catalog of content, whereas I find a lot of what's on Netflix is scattered amongst them anyway. Like Big Bang Theory, I've just noticed has just recently switched over to Prime, so it's on Prime and Netflix. I own the box set on disc, and I also own it somewhere else as well. But overall, me sticking with Prime, it doesn't. I don't have to worry about missing out on shows I like because they're already on Prime now. But anyway, it just saves you an awful lot of money. I'm just going to start, like I said, I'm just going to start collecting build my collection up now. And then when I want to watch a film, it's like movie night. It's almost like you're going back to the video store. Back in the day when you used to go and rent a film, I used to like that. It makes you think more about what you're going to watch rather than just mindlessly perusing and pressing this and pressing that. As seamless as it's become, I think we've lost that attachment to the medium itself. So yeah, I want to get another bookcase that goes next to the one I've already got. It'll be a matching style, exactly the same one. So one's full of books and the other one's going to be full of movies. And I'll go and stand there when it's movie night. I'll have a certain day, maybe a Friday or Saturday, maybe both days. And, because I'm not someone that wants to watch movies continuously. I can, but I don't, I've got other things I want to do. But I want to start segregating and saying, right, movies on a Friday and a Saturday night, it's going to be time to watch a film. And I've got a collection anyway. And then I'll just start adding to it a bit at a time. You can get used content, you can get used films, of course, you can get them incredibly cheap at the moment. And the way I see it is now's the best time to do it because I think a lot of people will transition over to physical again. And then eventually the prices go up. Like, for instance, earlier in last year, I was buying an awful lot of CDs because I just wanted to start building up my collection again. And there'll be a time when the price of CDs goes back up because people will get fed up with streaming. Not everybody, of course, but it's nice to own. Again, you're not reliant. If a service goes down or you're struggling for a payment, whatever the reason may be, you've always got a collection of your favourite things. I have a physical collection of my favourite music, physical collection of my favourite movies and TV shows. So I'm not relying on a service anymore, And I think that's a better place to be. Of course, there are exceptions to the rules. Of course, if you're travelling, it's the convenience that it's on your tablet, on your phone, for those moments. But again, I got Prime for that. I already own some physical movies on platforms. I mean, not physical, digital. I own them as purchases. But I don't want to keep putting my money there now because I'm fully aware that we don't own it. We just own the license because it's become more apparent, especially in the gaming industry at the moment. They're really shining a spotlight on this, that you don't own the games. You literally license them and they can be removed and revoked at any moment. And a game has recently had that happen, which has made me concerned because I'm predominantly a PC gamer, and you really don't have that many options when it comes to PC gaming. So I'm a bit frustrated, really. I didn't like it when they took the disc drives away from the latest game cases for the computers. It's not easy to put a disc drive in, so that's frustrating. But no, and then I recently got a Switch, and I'm like, wait a minute, I want to start collecting the cartridges now. Even if it's maybe a few pound more for the cartridge than it is on the e-store, because sometimes they do some incredible sales on the e-store. But I'm starting to compare them now, and I'm like, you know what? I prefer to have digital, it's convenient. But in terms of having control of the device, I want cartridges. So we'll see. But I think we've got to start looking at who owns what do we want. Of course, if you don't really care, then streaming's great because, you don't have to own anything. And the way I look at it, especially with in Game Pass with Xbox, for instance, you can play on PC. You pay a certain amount each month, you get an awful lot of value from that. And if a game gets removed, it's fine because you treat it like I play it now and there's something new to. So I get it. Even if you consume a lot of content, those services are good. But for someone like me who almost feels pressured to watch it because you've paid for it, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, for me, it's overwhelming. And a lot of what I would watch, I already own. So what are we doing here? So anyway, it's worth having a little think in your own personal life, really, what you need. And then we've literally gained control of our lives. Our spending doesn't keep going on the things we don't need to be spending on. And those companies don't have control of us anymore. We've literally removed that grip. In the same way, a lot of people in the UK have moved away from TV license, which is an absolute scam of a shit in the first place. To watch live broadcast content, we need a license that costs £170 a year. And when you try and pay monthly, they make it inflated for the first part, like £40 a month and stuff. And you're like, this don't make sense. Why can't you just make it reasonable, like £10 a month or whatever it is, £13? But they don't. They make it all complicated. So most people just forgo it all entirely and cancel it and say, sod it, I don't need live shit. But it's ridiculous. You're pushed away from live content because there's greed everywhere. It's the same thing. That on top of all these subscription services, it gets crazy. Of course, with Netflix and that on demand, you don't actually need a TV license. But once you start going heavy that way, then you want broadcasted TV, and then you're going, wait, this is just all too much. Let's minimize. Let's get rid of it all. Let's get rid of it all. I've got discs, and it's a simpler life. And yeah, I'm going back to basics. I'm happy to reset. We've gone forward in time. I'm not happy where it's going. It's literally getting greedy as shit, and they're controlling really what we watch to an extent. Because you might like a film and think, oh, this is good, and then you go to watch it, and it's not there anymore. Or all of a sudden you've been paying this subscription because there's a film you do like, and now you could like for Prime, for instance, now it's not available, but you can buy it. But it's like, yeah, but I've been paying that subscription. I like that film. Now I've got to pay the subscription this month and buy that film. So you're better off just buying the bloody films, and accruing them. Of course, Blu-rays and Ultra HD are better than DVDs, but in all honesty, that's just us becoming more spoiled. I think really, because I watched Twisted recently, and that was on DVD, and it was fine. It's perfectly fine, It's like, okay, I've got so used to 4K, but I don't need all that shit. Anyway, that's my rant, or sort of a rant. Maybe just talking really about physical content versus streaming services. But yeah, I'm just someone that gets overwhelmed with too much anyway. So it's just simpler to live a simpler life.